Hey, what is up, grappling fans? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, and we have an excellent show for you here today. Just to remind you guys, today, yes, there is Submission Underground 18. Yes, I do know it is already happening, but I have to sign into my UFC Fight Pass. Fortunately, I have brought two people who will be able to walk us through what's going on. Returning once again, one of our good friends, one Jordan Peitzman. Jordan, how are you doing, sir?
I am very good. How about yourself, Raph?
Very well. Thank you very much for coming back in. You were the first one to tell me what's going on over there. So can you give me an idea of what you're seeing on your screen?
We got Alan Sanchez, 10th Planet guy. I'm not exactly sure where he's out of. I know I met him in the Midwest. And then Justin Rennick, he's out of Texas. Alan Sanchez has been putting the pressure on him the entire time. A couple submission attempts. Now on tap looking to pass the guard.
Excellent. And we have another guest who is joining us today. Returning, last time he helped us out with the Wrestling Underground. Today we have him joining us for Submission Underground because, guess what? As it turns out, he actually knows some jiu-jitsu as well. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the, I don't want to say injured, but I don't want to say incapacitated, but please welcome one, Jason Ariella. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Rob?
Very well. Do you find it interesting? What is the most thing that you have discovered in being holed up, and how long are you out for?
Well, I'm almost about a week out from post-op, so I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm starting to walk around a lot more now from my my surgery, so it's not too bad. Honestly, the first day I was already kind of walking around the house, so.
Oh, that's good, but I don't know that your doctor would be like, you know that thing that you do where you try to simulate with your friends? Maybe go back to that next week, especially all the leg attacks. That sounds like a good plan.
Right. No, I just been using this time just to heal up, man, and then just learn a lot of new technique, take advantage of the time that I have off right now. You know what I mean?
Excellent. Well, Jordan, I'm going to ask you to give us a little bit of an update as to what you're seeing. Are we still seeing a lot of pressure being put on right now?
Alan Sanchez is just kind of on top, passively looking to pass the guard here. No, like, real deep attempts at passing the guard, but
okay, fair enough.
Are you guys hearing an echo of me?
Yeah, I get like a smidge. Do you get one at all, Jason?
Yeah, I'm hearing myself double. I'm trying to figure out why.
Could be because I have my earpiece next to you, so I just want to make sure that I'm good. It may be a little bit to work through. Like I said, this is a brand new feature of our eCam that we're using as a little bit of an alternative to our friends over at StreamYard, who we like as well. But anyway, well, Jordan, I think it's very interesting. You have an announcement about what is going on over in Iowa, I believe, next month, right?
Yeah, we got another tournament coming up on November 14th, following up on the BJJ Woodstock there at the end of August, which was a really, really, by far our most successful event to date, and looking to follow up on that with another great event in November.
Excellent. All right. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. I realized it was going off of... There we go. That should probably be stronger sound from me, I'm sure, now, right?
Yeah,
it sounds a little more clear now.
Yeah, before it was using my my webcam noise. So anyway, we will have another friend joining us in just a few minutes, so let's go ahead and show you guys what it looks like when all three of us are in the frame together for the time being. All right, so Jason, Jordan, you don't know each other. At least I don't think you do. So why don't you go ahead and take a moment to get to know each other while I go ahead and fix my TV.
What's up, Jordan? How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself, man?
Good. Just watching some.
So how do you and Raph? Yeah, how do you and Raph know each other? How do you get connected to do the show?
So I met Raph, actually, I believe the first time I met him was over at Combat Jiu-Jitsu. It was, I believe, the featherweights, and one of my teammates was competing there, and I just happened to run into him, started talking. My brother's really good friends with him, so he's come through our gym a couple of times. We have a gym over in Anaheim, California, so we do jiu-jitsu and wrestling there, and he came out and tried one of our wrestling classes there.
Nice.
How about yourself?
Wrestling background. So probably just through doing events. He had me on a couple times to do the podcast, but I promote events out here in Iowa. just like open tournaments, and then we do like cash prize brackets and pro brackets and things like that as well. So he's done some coverage for those things also.
Good news, everybody. We do have another person joining us right now, and that person is none other than the super quiet one, Josh LeDuc. Josh, I'm going to go ahead and pull you in right now. How are you doing, sir?
Raph, this is horrible. I want to go back to the other software.
It's because it's difficult to use for dumb people. So, it's got to be different and hard.
Where's that boy? Okay. All right. Now we have 4 people. All right, cool.
That's what happens, dummy, when you show up on time. I don't like the 3-person setup, but I'm a fan of the 4-person. Jordan, you were signaling right underneath. You said that something was happening. We did see a submission. Do you mind walking us through what you saw?
I actually missed it. I was looking over at this screen and didn't see what was going on in the actual match. So I failed you on that one.
Please.
I failed you on that one.
That's fine. It's expected at this point. LeDuc, can you tell us what happened?
Yeah. Justin Rennick lost by RNC in overtime. Shout out to Justin, my boy. Also, shout out to I'm forgetting his name now. Fucking monster from 10th Planet. God
Alan
damn it.
Sanchez.
I'm sorry,
Alan
Rob.
Sanchez.
Yeah, Alan
Way to
Sanchez.
save the segment. Really good job there. Don't worry, I'll save this. No, I forgot how to host.
Matt, you got a haircut, dude. Did you move out of California?
No, I just got a haircut. You know what it was? I couldn't tell at a certain point. We were able to go get haircuts, and I couldn't tell if I should just write it out and see it all the way through, or if I was getting too annoyed with it that I need to go get it cut. And I got to a point where I said, you know what? Screw this noise. I'm just going to go ahead and do it myself. Hey, ladies and gents, you did get a submission there, and that is for one Alan Sanchez. And guess what? Yep. That's how great
soundboard
this one uses. We have a soundboard we could use. We could also use a bicycle horn, which makes no sense in this. Unfortunately, we only give cheers to those who get finishes within the regulation. Unfortunately, we did not get that here. So we're going to give them some time.
We're not going to see a lot of that tonight.
That is very possible. Now, why do you say that, Josh?
5-minute rounds, man. Come on.
I like that the note you put up was they got a soundboard. That's going to play really well in 2 days when people go, what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I mean, to be fair, nobody watches anyways, but...
You would be surprised. Some of us have acclimated more than 250,000 views just through interviews.
Interesting. 250,000 over a 3-year career. That's a pretty low average.
2. It's just 2 from this show, and it's one of my shows. I don't know what you've done. Actually, I do. I've seen your numbers. It's not that. So, when you make that joke...
200,000 over 2 events. That's right.
200,000 over 2 events. Yeah, how many people have to share that link? How many people are on that link? How many teams are associated with that? I'm just one guy.
I'm sorry. How many people want to share yours, Raph?
A lot of people. If you want to go look at my share stats, that's how the numbers go up, you dummy.
It's all right. I share your stuff as well.
I know you do. And I sometimes share yours when the production's like so-so. I mostly have to see you do 50% better than most people, and that's not a high bar to set. I want to move this over. So, listen, obviously you're wearing a shirt that we should probably address here.
Hold on, let me get a better angle of the shirt.
Well, here's the problem. A better angle of the shirt is a worse angle for you. So,
I've been lifting weights.
Where?
That's hilarious.
Outside of your house and leaving them out by the trash. Anyway, why the shirt? I mean, I know, but maybe other people may not know.
Because Jordan and I are starting a revolution.
Okay.
Free content for the people.
Jordan, what is your association to that hashtag that they use?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Because Josh wore that shirt on our live broadcast, and it drew a lot of attention.
It's very nice. You don't leave much for subtlety, Josh, so I will say that. Why don't we talk about promoting people who are actually doing good things? So you were talking a little bit, Jason, about your gym. You said it's located out there. So do you get to take the time off? Does your brother have to cover the gym teaching right now? How is that working for you guys?
Yeah, so like this past week, he's pretty much been covering all the wrestling classes and all that. So I'll be back. My post-op meeting with my doctor is going to be Tuesday, so I'll be back probably by Tuesday. Just going in there, just coaching. Obviously, I can't really wrestle or anything like that yet. So But yeah, he's kind of holding the fort down right now while I'm gone.
I'll ask you this, Jason, while we are with you. We're about to be going to our second match, but before then, what are you most excited for tonight?
Ooh, I'm excited to watch Keith Corian compete tonight. He's a really good friend of mine. Trained with him a handful of times, and he's just a really exciting grappler. A guy has a nonstop pace, always putting the pressure, always looking for the submission and the attack. So him and Dominguez should be a really good matchup tonight.
Josh, you recently had Keith as not only a one-divisioner, but a two-division champion. What was it like to watch him continue his dominance?
You know, in the words of Nate Diaz, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. Like, Keith is a monster. He's literally one of the best in the game. He's going to destroy Domingos tonight, and I really like Domingos, but it's a bad matchup for him. We saw Jordan Hawley leg lock Domingos relatively quickly. If Keith doesn't get the leg lock in 5 minutes, he's going to easily pick him apart in overtime. But we have Pablo Alfonso and Andrew Alexander right now, which is another fire match. I like both these guys.
Excellent. Why do you like this match, sir?
You know, Andrew is one of the toughest guys in 10th Planet. You know, he doesn't get a lot of the credit because he's very soft-spoken. But Pablo, he's been around, combat jiu-jitsu vet, EBI vet, MMA vet. He's just really good. But I'm going to pick Andrew in this match here right away on that mission control from Rubber Guard right now.
Excellent. I mean, yeah, he is that very nicely clamped down. You were mentioning a little bit with Pablo. He is a combat jiu-jitsu vet. I also believe he has some MMA experience. Pablo is one of... I'm sorry, Pablo. the stash made me call you Pablo here for a second. Jordan. Jordan, tell me a little bit about what you have seen. Have you seen Alexander compete before?
I've only seen a handful of matches of his. I remember a match of his against Pierre. A couple other times on Submission Underground. He's usually really heavy after the legs. So look for that.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. We're going to probably make sure to let people know that, yes, we will be toasting those who get submission finishes within regulation. So we want to remind you guys that, yes, we are rooting for the athletes to get submissions. And right now, as it looks, Andrew Alexander is trying to push the pace, just trying to inch a little bit forward. Now, I do know this a little bit about Alfonso, which is that he tends to like to play a high-pressure game with a little bit of that MMA wrestling kind of style. Jason, when you see somebody who is butt scooting toward you aggressively, what is going through your mind?
Back, because I know a lot of times when they're coming forward, they're going to try and create a butterfly situation where they can elevate me and get under to my legs and start attacking. So looks like Pablo's doing a pretty good job. He's creating distance between him and Alexander there. He's doing the right things necessary. I think actually Red competed against Pablo a few times, and he seems to be a more defensive player. Kind of waits for his attacks or his openings to go and pass guard and then start working from there.
Most people against Red are probably going to be pretty defensive, if I'm just making a guess, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to make sure that we give him due respect on that. I'm going to look over this way. Are you seeing anything that you are liking out of Andrew Alexander's game? You mentioned you were excited for him. I'll go over to Josh on this one.
Not at all.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send that clip to him. I'm going to make sure that when we see him next.
To be fair, it's very tough to grapple Pablo because he's pretty good at doing nothing. He just tried that Rick James foot sweep there, so, you know, like that. But Pablo, man, he's just really good at, like you guys were saying, at waiting for his opportunity to attack. And in 5-minute rule set, I don't know if that's a game he wants to play with Andrew because the size disadvantage, and Andrew's definitely way better in overtime.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this is about the time when we start making wagers on if this is going to probably go to overtime. Although, Andrew, we're going to get the back here. He does look like he has a body triangle from my view. He has a nice little grip that he's trying to get here. It's not 100% traditional on this, but this is good time to work. This is a minute 43 here, and Pablo is looking like he has given up a little bit of his neck. Andrew is putting in overtime on that neck right now. Woo! He's
got the long squeeze. Oh, he got out.
Well, I think that, if anything, Andrew's maybe making a tactical decision to start retrying a different angle and approach on this. He's literally trying to baby bird his his thumb through under the neck. He's starting to get a little bit better of a grip. You do see Pablo starting to wince. He is trying to pull it down. This might be a little bit too late. Let's see if he's able. Nope, he is able to get through. He's going to endure that. This also might be an interesting precursor if you have to do overtime rounds with somebody. This is where you do not want to be when you go, we're going to do this again in a minute and a half. So, no bueno here. Jordan, you have competed at a number of different competitions yourself, sir. At what point do you give into the idea that overtime might happen?
After about, well, it depends on the length of the match, but like, actually, really never. I don't know. I haven't. Yeah.
Have you done EBI overtime?
I went like 8. I went like 8 different directions with that answer.
Yeah,
I've done EBI overtime. I mean, I don't really think about the time. I just grapple the same way always. I mean, if somebody's like overwhelming me and a lot better than me, like for instance, I had a match with Pierre and he was a lot better than me and he was overwhelming me, and I was like, well, I guess if I can just survive till overtime, I'll have a chance.
Ladies and gents, we do have a submission finish. Sorry about your story and your narrative.
Nice. No
Fuck
worries.
that for right now. Well, why don't we go ahead and start with this? We're going to start doing a toast. I'm going to give this one on over to Josh. You can lead off this toast, sir, for Andrew Alexander.
I was going to say the weakest part of Andrew's overtime game is the lack of face cranks, but there it goes with the face crank win over Pablo Alfonso. Here's to you, Andrew. So what's up with the they're not in the warehouse anymore. Are they back in the Roseland? Is there a crowd?
I haven't seen. I haven't seen it when the lights aren't dim, so I haven't paid that much attention. Josh, what did you see about that? Because I would like to hear more about it.
About what, the submission or the
No,
venue?
the venue yourself. You said that you saw something in the background in between the transitions.
Yeah.
That's the only time the lights go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dark right now, and they have the extra lighting, whereas normally they leave the lights on, and you can see it's one of Chill's warehouses. So I'm assuming they're still in the warehouse because Portland is a shithole and has no freedom. But, you know, maybe I wouldn't put it past the bad guy to break some rules and have some fans in there.
Fair enough. I enjoy that. We're going to go up in a second to figure out what's next match. Here's the thing. This whole card, the undercard, is truly the hero of it.
Yeah. Heather did a really good job of the matchmaking on this one.
So this is Pablo and Andrew, and then coming up next is Nick Ronan as a replacement versus Andy Night Varela. Now, Andy is also a monster in himself. He has great movement. He has already gotten Match of the Night distinctions from us over here at the Grappling Hour. But what a fucking great replacement to get if you're going to get one at the last minute. I'm going to ask this on over this way to Jordan. Jordan, what can you tell me about one Nick Ronan?
Nick Ronan. He's actually, we've never gotten him on Subspectrum, but he's supposed to have been on a couple times. I know he's had a match with Keith Krikorian, a really, really tough match at finishers where it went to overtime. Keith ended up getting the win. I know he's got really, really slick back takes. Obviously good leg locks out of that DDS system. I haven't seen a ton of him, but I'm excited to see him here tonight. This whole card is filled with a lot of really awesome talent. Somebody that follows kind of like the smaller circuit of tournaments. There's like 9, 10, 11 guys on this card that I'm super, super familiar with. So this is an exciting card for me.
I did already ask Jason who he was most excited to see here tonight. So now I'm going to move over to Josh. What match are you most excited about this evening?
I mean, it's going to be a little cliche, but I'm excited for the main event just because we get to see how Vinny's going to rebound after the injury he sustained from Craig Jones. Plus, you know, I just found out he's a big hater of Hywel Teague as well, so, you know, I'm pulling for him.
Oh, look at that. What, united front against Flow Grappling. It's almost like they've done things to people. Well, all right. Jason, I also am curious. You mentioned that you were excited for Keith. How much do you know about Rafael Domingos?
I watched him compete in the past a couple times. Seen him at some tournaments. A couple tournaments my brother and I traveled at. So, I mean, I know he's a high-level grappler. He's a little more passive than I think than Keith is. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to that match to see how it goes.
For me, I know that Domingos usually has good like movement. I've seen him famously use like almost like a salsa step. It is very difficult when you know that Keith is going to pull guard. So in my perspective, I think especially with the cage, there's only so much movement they can make. And I think that not only plays more towards Keith's advantage, but I think Keith has to be the favorite. Did any of you happen to look at the betting lines on any of these fights here tonight?
I've been too busy.
No. They weren't available through the betting agency that I use, so I didn't even look at them.
When you phrase it like that, Jordan, it does make it seem like it's a very seedy organization that you use to do any kind of betting there.
It's my bookie. They just didn't have any. Usually they have lines for Submission Underground. I've won a lot of money off of Roberto Jimenez, so maybe that's why they're not offering me lines.
That might be it. Well, they
had him as like.
Go ahead.
Well, they had him as like barely a favorite over like I don't remember who it was. It was like Don Stoner or something. I bet the fucking house on that, and I made a bunch of money off of it.
Well, we are now approaching Nick and Andy. They are already in the cage. Yeah, I can't tell right now, Josh. I was trying to look when they had the lights up a little bit right now. I'll take probably another look maybe at their social media to see, but we are already at fast action. There's an immediate pull to guard by one Nick Ronan, and Andy is trying to suppress any of it that he can. I mean, he's already starting to push the forehead. He's trying to attack legs, but Nick is doing a very good job of moving his legs very quickly back and forth.
It's all right. I just texted Emil. He'll let me know.
Oh, thank you. That's the hard part, is they're also not really supposed to say where they are, so it is a very interesting dynamic to see the group of them all together filling out paperwork in the outside tent of what looks like always like they went camping every time I see the video of it. All right, I need some play-by-play. I'll give this on over to Jason. What do you see happening in front of you right now?
So right now I see Varela on top, really trying to put the pressure on him. He's definitely using that cage right now to go ahead and force Ronan's back against the cage. He's trying to leg weave there. I think it's really good. It favors Varela because he also does have some MMA experience. So I think it's this octagon he's using to his advantage, where Ronan, I think he's competed maybe in a few competitions where he's in a cage or an octagon, but Varela definitely has a lot more experience here.
Very nice. Awesome. I dig that.
That's interesting.
What'd you say there?
I was saying that's interesting because I know Nick Ronan has been doing a lot of work with Aljo and Miles who the fuck? Ali Quinta, getting them ready for their MMA fight. So I was kind of curious to see how he would fare in the cage because I know Varela has that MMA experience. You know, I don't think he's too unaccustomed to it, but he's definitely never fought MMA.
Yeah, I don't know what I would tell you on this. I've gotten the opportunity to interview Nick Ronan, and for years his nickname was the Accountant. And I asked him, I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Well, because I am an accountant, dude. Like, it's kind of a boring nickname. I don't know what to tell you." And I looked at him and I said, "All right, good for you." But the dude has more recently made more strides, recently getting his black belt right around the pandemic times. So, I think he's really looking for a big opportunity. And to my knowledge, I don't believe he's been on the Submission Underground card before. So I'm very excited to see him make a huge debut here tonight. And what a great person for him to get against. And you're seeing, as you all have mentioned right now, just the head positioning and the continuous pressure against the cage to make sure that he can't get any of his leg attacks at all firing off thus far in. And we're already past the halfway mark of this match.
So, update. Emil just told me there's no crowd. It's just new lighting.
It's just new lighting?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't assume it was going to be a crowd, but it is still the same silo then, yeah?
Yeah, it's the same place,
Okay.
as far as I know.
We'll have to confirm that in a later interview when we do our investigative reporting. It's always funny because whenever they do the interview, I'm not trying to push them to rat their fucking situation out, but every once in a while you see them look at me and go, uh-oh. And I go, I didn't make you say any of that, kid. 1:30 left to go on the clock right now, and they had a quick amount of separation. Very nice attempt to go ahead and grab and snag that leg. He is not fast enough to go ahead and pull that down. The saving grace right now, I think, is continuously just getting Nick off of his game. So even if Andy isn't familiar with this game or hasn't done a ton of tape study on him, he seems to understand where he may want to go on this.
It's really interesting because Nick is coming in for my 170 division in a couple weeks, so it's a nice little insight to see what he's been doing recently against a game opponent and how he'll fare in that division. I mean, I'm a big Nick Ronan fan, but Andy's doing a really good job of making this a dogfight and not letting him get off any of his attacks.
I mean, there's something to be said about strategy, man. If you know you got a beast opponent like that, if you can implement the strategy, you're going to cut down half of their advantage. So, at the very least, like I mentioned, I can't even tell. Andy might even be the kind of person who's just like, yeah, I don't know that I do a strategy. His team might, Casey might, somebody might pull it in that knows him well, and that might be very helpful. But, Jesus, dude, just his movement alone is usually indicative of this guy can make a very quick stop decision in the middle of doing something that most of us would look a little silly doing.
So can we go ahead and change Nick Ronan's nickname from the accountant to Fake Mose?
To what?
Fake Mose.
Fake Mose.
From you're talking from The Office, yes.
Yeah.
We'll put it to a vote, and we'll see by the end of this.
The ayes have it. Good.
Yes, of course. No votes, of course, go Republican is how that goes. I would tell you this, though, Jace. If I were to ask you right now, what has impressed you most in this match now that you've gotten to see what you've seen?
I think the way Varela really approached this match, because like you said, he definitely respects Ronan's leg game, and so the whole time he's got him pinned up against the cage, putting heavy pressure. Usually you like to see Varela. Varela likes to be out in the open. He's very explosive, super athletic. I mean, you see him doing backflips and stuff like him in the Cody Steele match. So, I mean, it's been a really, really interesting change of events here. So it's good. Good setups for him.
We should also mention that we are going to see Cody Steele back here tonight. We have William Taggett and Cody Steele on this undercard as well. They'll be on fairly soon, but they just were competing over the weekend at the Who's Number One event. Jason, I'll have a question for you about the other Who's Number One event because I didn't even know there was a second one.
Yeah, there was last night. There was a Who's Number One event for wrestling. So they had a lot of the top recruits from high school kids from all over wrestling, and then they also announced, I believe, a special match that's coming next month, and I believe next month in November. Jordan Burroughs versus Zahid Valencia, which is going to be a really exciting match as well too.
Dude, there's nothing like seeing him put up. I saw Burroughs put up the post that he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm back," and it was a very casual post, and I go,
"Yeah,
oh shit, I'm excited, dude. That's not even my gig."
Yeah, I think the caption was like, "Tell a friend, JB's back," or something like that. It's pretty funny, but it's really cool to see too because Jordan Burroughs is actually going up a weight class to 86 kilograms against Zahid. I don't know about for the Olympics, but as far as competing against Zahid, he is. So we'll see.
Well, Nick is trying to makeshift some kind of aggressive attack here, and Andy is, he just maybe saw a peek at the end of the tunnel, and he's not quite getting out there, but he will probably ride out the last 11 seconds, which means he's probably going to get an at-bat very, very quickly for that. I have to tell you guys this. Surviving a back attack from Nick Ronan bodes very well for Andy's component for what he's got going on next, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to keep that ride time going for himself.
Yeah, it's interesting because Nick didn't really have too many digs at attacks. He had really good control in the overtime. Outside of that face crush towards the end where he's more on the nose, he didn't really impress me in the overtime. And even now, like, he won the head position battle, but he's just kind of fighting the legs. And now Andy's got a good fight on the face.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is a very tough position.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive,
Very
man.
nice.
That's very impressive. Made it a dogfight. And I guess that's what you got to do against Nick Ronan, just make him work and then test his mettle in overtime.
I mean, unfortunately, that, again, will not get a cheers, but it has our respect for one Andy Night Varela. A very solid performance for him. He shut down Nick Ronan, who is a game competitor in his own right, so Kind of, it's what I like to call the approving dad nod, where it's just kind of like, I feel like that's it. I feel like that's a good way of telling him. Andy, good job to you.
Good
So,
job, buddy.
what weight class does Andy compete in?
Anybody got that one? Because I sure couldn't tell you. He looks like somebody who probably.
I think-
I'm not really sure.
I think he floats back and forth between 70 and 85 for jiu-jitsu. I think he actually goes down to 155 for MMA.
I'm gonna have to have him out on a show one of these days.
Yeah,
He's
no
exciting.
shit. Both of you guys
He
should
whooped
put him on
Derek
a show
Flake's
right
ass.
now. Yeah, that was a
I didn't
rough
hear what you
match.
said.
At Ultimate Mat Warriors. Sorry, Derek, if you're listening. Didn't mean to call you out like that.
It's very rare that you get Jordan ever saying someone sucks, but he's close enough proximity where he could do something about it if he doesn't feel a certain way. So, Derek, we do appreciate you watching. If you aren't, I don't really care anymore. I'm not protecting you. I will tell you guys what is coming up next, and that match is a replacement as well. Alex Larmy and Aaron Teagues. Now, originally this was going to be a rematch between, I believe it's Nicholas Maximoff and Aaron Teagues.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone 1-1 apiece, one in gi, one in no gi, and this was supposed to be a deciding factor. I do believe that, what's his face? Nicholas Maximoff, I believe he has a fight coming up, so I think that's probably why he got pulled. So, as a result of that, we are going to see, I believe, a gi match with Alex Larmy and Aaron Teagues. But coming up after that, on the order, is going to be one Emil Fisher and Hunter Colvin.
Ooh.
How exciting is that match to you, Josh, and why?
Not exciting at all. Hunter's gonna destroy Emil.
Oh no, that's a terrible preview.
I mean, honestly,
He's
I
right.
love Emil. Yeah, I mean, it's a 5-minute match. If it was a 10-minute match, then, something could happen. But the real interesting storyline here is the fact that Emil's coming off a couple of losses last weekend in my event, and Hunter's coming off a couple of losses in Oklahoma, IBJJF, whatever the fuck that was, last weekend or the week before. So both these guys are probably pretty hungry right now, looking for something to prove. I went over some strategy stuff with Emil, so it'll be interesting to see if he.
Yeah, you really
Listen.
gave a lot of thought into that, where you're like, I gave him a lot of strategies, but that's all bullshit. He's still going to lose.
I mean, he's fighting an uphill battle. It's 5 minutes. And he's shown that his overtime needs a lot of work. I'm not going to bullshit Emil. Like, we talked about it. Like, if Hunter doesn't engage, things are going to get very interesting just because Emil's going to make an ass of himself. But Hunter's not like that. If Hunter goes for the kill, this match will be very interesting because the blueprint to beat Emil is to kind of play, not safe, but just, win insides, don't mount him, put pressure on him. 5 minutes goes by, you're on overtime, and he has a shitty overtime game.
I'm going to go over to Jason on this. So, did you see the Who's Number One event for grappling? And if so, what were the matches that people needed to see?
I honestly only was able to catch the last few matches with Nicky Ryan and then Gordon Ryan and what's his name, Mateus.
All right, so this one's going to go out to you, Jace, because, listen, you kind of speak both languages here. When you heard that Nicky Ryan was going to go and take on Tony Ramos, like, what went through your head?
I mean, I guess I was excited for it, but at the same time, like, I understand, like, the rule set, and when they introduced, like, leg locks and heel hooks, I didn't see it lasting very long. So when he got the submission, I think it was, 22 seconds?
Yeah.
I was not surprised at all, but I was hoping it was going to go a little bit longer, but Nicky Ryan wasted no time. He was able to get to the leg attacks, pulled off the heel hook, and game over.
It just bummed me out because I just thought, how is this at all fair? Like, props to Tony, obviously, for coming and trying to our sport, and I don't give him any hassle. But my first question when I was interviewing him was, what the hell are you doing? And he told us that they were trying to get the rules to be a little bit more modified so that maybe it wouldn't be heel hooks because, dude's got a career that involves wrestling. And Flo, that's a cue for somebody I'm going to talk about Flo. That Flo refused to change the rules. Josh, would be a good time to sport your T-shirt as you do that.
Listen. So, Flo did a lot of bad things with that event, man. Like, you're in fucking Texas, and you have the best. Oh, wait, it's a gi match. We don't even care about this. Anyway, sorry.
I care about it, but I also understand I have some other feelings. I will sit here and waiting if something important happens. Take the floor, Josh.
Yeah, if these guys like get a submission, we'll pay attention. But Flo fucked up who's number one, man. Like, having that level of talent in such a poorly constructed venue is a disgrace to the sport. Like, it was a really entertaining card for the matches, you know? I can only imagine how much more entertaining it would have been if there was a live crowd. And seeing what Fight to Win and Third Coast has done in Texas, there's no reason they couldn't have done that. To me, it just felt like I was watching golf the whole fucking time with how Teague fucking pushing Flow grappling merch down my throat and making horrible announce. Like, he doesn't even know where fucking Sao Paulo passes. The only saving grace besides the matches was Jean-G Ribeiro. Okay.
All right, you felt a certain way. That's good. I just know that when I see it from the broadcasting angle, I go, "Oh, Hal's doing it." Okay, well, you know, every amateur's got to have a night to go on, so why not?
I don't understand why, because I know Jake's doing the ADCC. I don't understand. He's got a nice triangle here, but I don't understand why they don't have Jake on more events, because he is not only knowledgeable, but he has a little bit of personality, and I feel like him and Jean-G would kind of like work off each other. Hyle's just like, he's just horrible.
Here's what we need from Jake, who we love. We need Jake to get more reps in, and the fact that they're not putting him on, they're only going to wait for like the 2 trials. Like, if he's going to be a showcase guy for you, you probably want to give him those reps, because it was like the degree of difficulty for ADCC is much harder than just doing the local tournament. So yeah, burn these bad ones now, because dude, it is a very rough thing to do. And sometimes you're carrying the weight for other people.
Heil Teague. Red Bell documentary.
I don't even have to say that. I just, listen, I keep it professional to the point of being like, you know, you get someone else. You know? Don't look pain that you want to do it, or it's like, oh, I guess I'll do it. I mean, if nobody else wants to do it, it's just like, just say you want to do it and do it. And learn how to get better at it. And be knowledgeable to know, like, hey, man, there are some things you gotta work on. I'm sorry, I was talking over you, Josh. What were you saying over there?
Wow. That was a nice bow and arrow from the brown belt. I don't know who he is, but I think Larmy's in the black geese with the other guy.
Teagues. That's like a nickname.
Shout out to Teagues.
Well, that means we're going to have to do a toast to him, and since there are no post-fight interviews to wait for, Jordan, you will be tasked with the cheers on that one, sir.
Fuck, I need to refill.
Are we sure we know this guy's name before Jordan does this?
Hold on. They're going to put up the name on the marker. I'm pretty sure that's Teagues.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure.
And he also has a Batman on his fucking sleeve. Good for him. Jordan, can we talk real quick? I'm going to, you know what? Hold on. Let me do this. I'm going to talk to you a little bit solo. Add to right. There's a little something called movie magic. What I mean by movie magic is you get a drink and you say, this is delicious. You don't have to tell us.
It's clear, though. It's clear.
We'll get a different cup.
They're going to know.
Okay, I'm going to let you have the time to go get something else to drink or refill it, and then we will pick up. And yes, that is Aaron Teagues. I do know that much. So, Jordan, get some more fuel. The rest of us will cover for you, sir. Thank you. Oh my god. This kid. No accounting for taste sometimes. I don't know what he's yelling at us, but I will say that Aaron Teagues definitely has some Bee Gees hair.
I feel like we're in the Brady Bunch right now.
Yeah, it does. Here's the thing. If I take him off, right, look what happens to the format. I guess it's not letting me do it. Uh-oh. I have to unlock
Waiting.
it. Hold on. Unlock. When I unlock it and I put 3 of us on at once, it does this one. And that's the only thing I don't like about this yet. So this is in the middle of beta testing, so we'll be the first guinea pigs to be using this new technology for eCam. But in some ways, it's going to afford me stronger capabilities than I have with StreamYard. I still think StreamYard edges them on this component.
So are you going to be able to do more graphic overlays and stuff like that? Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
So I'm very much waiting to do it. And more importantly, as you guys may notice, as I'm switching between the two, my little handy dandy thing over here. So that anytime I want to be like, hey, look, it's Josh. Just kidding. No, it's Jason. No, look.
I got one
That's
right here,
pretty cool.
too.
Oh, do you have one? Let me see it. Did you use that, though, for your StreamYards?
No, I got it because I'm using it with some of my other streaming equipment for events.
Fair enough. you're good church-going person that you are.
Oh,
When
no,
you're
I'm not doing that anymore. No.
Oh, you stopped doing that? Was your one redeeming thing, sir. Like you were a curmudgeon asshole with us, and then you'd be like, "Well, I'm going to church the day after," and I go, "All right, well, absolve some of your sins there, kid." And now you're telling me you don't even have that? I did my
I
time.
did my time.
Yeah. Everybody says that. It was your USO tour,
You know, the
2016.
charity at work I do for grapplers alone should give me an
Oh,
heaven,
wow.
all right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta help these bums out, man. It's fucking charity.
Do you know how sad it is when we get up to heaven, and all of a sudden God's gonna be like, "And what was the name of your sport again?" I don't follow it. No, I watch football, basketball fan, not a huge fan of grappling. Oh, God.
So the bad guy is telling us stuff here. Actually, I want to hear the commentary he does for a meal. Like,
I know. Oh, God, that's really
Brad, is
funny.
there a way you can put some of this commentary on here?
I can just turn it up loud, although I think sometimes they use that. I don't think they're even talking about Emil. Oh, yeah, it's all about Adesanya now. He's just vamping with talk about that.
Okay. Nobody cares about that.
No. Well, at least not from Chael. Chael was actually making the case for John Jones versus Izzy Adesanya and said that Izzy would beat him all 5 rounds. And I said, I think Izzy could beat him, but not all 5 rounds for a person who's historically not lost very many, if any, rounds.
Let Izzy take out Blachowicz first. All right, here we go.
All right, now, Josh, I already know your prediction on this one. Jordan, do you have a prediction on this one?
I think Hunter's going to beat him one way or another, whether it's in regulation or overtime. I think Hunter wins this match.
Yeah, here's the one issue I have about this match, is that I'm happy that Emil gets his debut on there, but of all people, he's getting it with a mean grappler. Like, Hunter has a very mean style that sometimes I think that Emil has very good trading partners, but he will come at him with holy hell. I will ask you this, Jason, because I don't know how much you follow all of the grappling gossip, news, grandeur that everybody else does, but how familiar are you with Emil Fisher?
Not too familiar with him.
Okay, so I'm going to ask your first impressions based off of his apparel.
Stands out, definitely.
That, you know what? That counts.
Stands out a lot.
100% is the right response. That's amazing. Well, here's the good news. He would normally be doing some kind of weigh-in antics where he'd probably bring a rubber chicken. There would be an elaborate walkout. So he is a friend of the show, but he's also nonsensical.
No, he's not. He's not a friend.
I will tell you he was on within the past month, so I have to say he's a friend of the show until the month's done.
All right, so this is the interesting part because this is where Emil gets dangerous, is when people attack submissions on him, they leave exposures. Now, Hunter's very good, so I don't think Emil's tricks are...
His legs.
I mean, he's got his leg. Not enough.
I think you're a little bit ahead of me. Yeah, now he's out.
You will like this, Josh. I can tell you, though. I just took out one of the earbuds, and Chill was quoted as saying, Emil Fisher just showed some fantastic technique. So take that to the bank.
No, he didn't.
He 100% did.
No,
That's
he
what he
didn't.
said.
He just showed that he's a behemoth.
So, okay.
Emil has the R word strength, because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on this show.
No, not on
Ralph.
mine. I would tell you this, though. Jason, and this is important because the rest of us know Emil. would you say it is a fair description to describe Emil Fisher as the unwarranted love child of Screech from Saved by the Bell and
Oh my
Weird Al
God.
Yankovic?
Yeah, I would say that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. It's one I had in the chamber for a while, so I forgot to do it. I was like, dude, if he pisses me off, I'm going to say that joke. And then he didn't piss me off, so I was like, fuck it. I'll do it on our show.
You
All
know,
right.
I will say that Emil is looking pretty good defensively, but I think Hunter also understands that when it goes to overtime, he's got a big advantage over Emil.
This is what, Hunter's third armbar attempt? So it's a credit to Emil's ability to recognize the position. He's moving very nicely of it. Hunter really wanted to try and start attacking Emil's legs. Base was very nice by Fisher over on that side. Now, if that is the case, I do want to ask you this. Jordan, what are you seeing in terms of play-by-play, sir?
In terms of play-by-play, I mean, Hunter's obviously dominating the majority of the exchanges. Emil's, like Josh said, doing a good job defensively. He's making it tough for Hunter to actually get any strong submission attempts. And maybe it tires Hunter a little bit out for overtime, but I still think Hunter's going to have the advantage going into overtime.
You know what's really interesting to me is we've seen. Oh, now he's on the back. Oh, there it is. Hunter with the RNC. I was going to say we kind of see how this plays out with both overtime scenarios, but Hunter with the win by RNC.
That's pretty good, man. Good for Hunter.
Hurt his rib a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jordan, you have to give our last gentleman, Aaron Teagues, a toast. So we'll take care of that, and we'll do other business right after.
Mr. Aaron Teagues, from one brown belt to another, just want to say I'm proud of you. Getting a win on Submission Underground during the pandemic is something that I would like to do, but instead I'm sitting on my ass in Iowa on a podcast with 3 people. I was going to say Dorcos, but I don't know Jason that well. So
Jason's great. Don't you dare come for Jason. Also, Jason's savage level, so when he comes back with his knee in firm place, he'll 100% beat the shit out of you. But go on, finish it out.
But yeah, cheers to Aaron.
Cheers to Aaron Teagues. There we go.
By bow and arrow shit.
All right, on this one, Jason, since you're new to these guys, I'm going to let you take the Hunter Colvin cheers, sir.
Alrighty. So cheers for the awesome back take, the RNC, and for the guy wearing the very bright and colorful spats. Awesome. Cheers.
Hey, you know what? I got nice toward the end for Emil, too. Cheers all the way. One thing that you will know about the Ariello brothers is they compete hard, but they're very nice human beings. So that's one of the things I appreciate. And we needed a nice person on the panel, if we're being honest. Normally we have...
Jordan.
It normally is
That's pretty
Jordan,
nice.
but... Jordan, you have thrown casual shade in the process of this so far in. Also, with the mustache, it's indicative of being the evil twin now. So I think that you are making the argument that you are very much no longer able to be the face. Eventually, though, when Jason gets back to regular form, we're supposed to have a WWE BJJ match. And the issue that happens here is there's no way I could be the good guy in this. Like, there is no form when we film it where he is going to be the bad guy.
You have
So
to
you
be the
gotta
heel
be the
rep.
bad guy.
You have to be.
And, like, put that with your brother, same thing. He tries to be a bad guy, can't pull it off. Red, though. Red might be able to do it. I think Red has it deep inside of him. I really
You
want to
think he could
turn
be the
him.
bad guy?
I think so, because what you do is he beats you, but then he like gives you an inspirational quote after he demolishes you in the ring.
Oh my god.
So it's going to be like, hey, learn from those wounds because it will help you grow one day. But not today, bitch. And then he like goes off and he like storms off the mats. Like, I think that would be a good heel turn from him. That is my guess.
When was WWE BJJ week supposed to be?
It was supposed to be in the beginning of April, late March, early
April?
April.
Oh my god. That doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Well, it was because
I know.
that was about 6-7 months ago. And I would tell you this, I think we'll figure something out. I think one of the things that we're going to probably do to make up for it is do a string of weeks that we're just having a belt travel around. Because I'm like, dude, if we can't have a full week based off of it, and I've had people ask me like, hey, when are we going to do it? I just think it might be best to do like a Olympic torch version of the belt, where it just goes to different places and everybody gets in on the fun. Because at this point, I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to cover an event. It might be another X many months, or at least to even get in some of the people who would be very fun to include. So that is on our agenda. All right, let's talk about this next match, because we already mentioned that Emil was going to be taking on one Hunter Colvin, but now we're getting into the main card, and you have Neuro versus Steel. Now, Cody, coming off of a decision loss against Dante Leon, probably wants to make an epic show of himself here tonight.
I have no idea who Neuro is.
Me neither.
I did follow somebody today who challenged Cody Steele, and I think it was a fairly legit challenge. But he was saying, like, Cody Steele, one of us, there can't be two good-looking Asians in all of grappling. I challenge you to a match. And Cody was like, yeah, I'm in, let's do it. And I just thought, that's probably one of the better call-outs I've seen. So that dude immediately followed us back, but I said, hey, kid, I don't know who you are, but I'll find out more about you. That's a funny joke.
I guess
There's
I'm
a
going to
guy I wanna
challenge Seth
see.
Daniels.
Oof.
You're going to?
There's only room for one mediocre-looking, roided-up promoter in this sport with a
God.
foul mouth. That's me.
If you were on any
I
version
just need to get on some roids.
Nice lift.
I was about to say, if you got any version of roids, did they come with a receipt? Because, look into their return policy, as I guess what I'm saying here. And Cody, man, already putting it on one Neuro. So if you didn't know who he is, be very careful here. We have seen highlight clips from Cody from this position when he has the back taken. Oof, instead he's opting to trip him, but you know that Cody's thinking, man, if I could just get another highlight of me suplexing the fuck out of this dude, it would be an amazing day for all of us. I would ask this, all right,
God.
So you didn't get to see the Who's Number One of that. I would ask you this, what do you think about his wrestling? Because I know that you have seen Cody compete as well, Jason.
I think he has some really good wrestling. Like, he has really good body awareness. I feel like he's been using it a lot more than usual, especially like his last couple events. He's been wanting to stand up and just get after it and wrestle. Even right now, like, he had the back and he wasn't really trying to go for the back. It looked like he was trying to work for some kind of throw or a slam. And I don't know too much about Neuro. I do know he fought a little bit of MMA. I think nothing big, no UFC or anything like that. But I do know he has like a wrestling background as well. So.
Damn. Speaking of which,
All
you
right,
know you
to
gotta
it.
be bad at leg locks if you get heel hooked by Cody Steele.
No.
I love Cody. Like, Cody's one of my favorite people, but he does not know leg locks.
Oh, man. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you about Neuro. We didn't know a lot about him, but tonight we learned a little bit about the way he jiu-jitsu'd, and we learned that he's got a Freddie Mercury face. So,
Got a nice stash.
it's not a complete loss.
Oh, he dropped the mic.
Oh, man.
Dork. No, I'm just kidding.
We need some fucking professionals in there.
Oh, God. This is so embarrassing here, people. All right. Well, I think maybe I should take this toast because it appears that Josh is a little too hot to do one for Cody Steele. Hey, Cody
I
Steele.
love Cody Steele. I'll do a nice one. Go ahead, Ralph.
You know what? Why don't I'll do one and then you do one? So I'm going to
Okay.
say the nice one. Cody Steele, I think you're an amazing practitioner. And in fact, I think you deserve that heel hook win. Not like other people on this broadcast. I won't mention names. But I want to toast you, sir, for always, always stellar jiu-jitsu. Cheers.
Cheers.
Josh?
I mean, it's not going to be a toast, but I'm going to say, man, I'm really happy to see Cody trying to evolve because, as Jason mentioned, he's been really heavy on the wrestling. And we've seen Raph, put your glass down. This isn't a toast.
No,
okay?
I'm holding it up the whole time until you're done.
Okay, this isn't an analysis. He doesn't have the level of wrestling to beat the John Combs and the higher level wrestlers of the jiu-jitsu world. So I'm very glad to see him kind of taking, advantage of the rest of the game. So I guess here's a toast again to Cody and his foray into the leg lock world.
Persistence. It pays off, kids. It's called commitment, children. You commit to the bit until everybody else has to do it. That's how you know you're a true professional.
I would have just kept on going till your arm went numb.
I was prepared, and I got to tell you, I'm a very weak person, but when I'm stubborn, I suddenly get stronger. So I am very, very good about being on that level. And I have to hold a camera all the time, so this is super light, all things comparatively, where you just start doing this all day long. All this fucking all day long with people.
So Raph, who's next?
We got coming up next right now is they're doing the replay of it. Hey, do you mind telling us about the heel hook then? Walk us through the heel hook that you just saw that they replayed. I'll ask Jordan because I'm done asking Josh about it.
It just looked like a fear tap from Nero. Like Cody hardly even had the grip locked in. He didn't have like his hips in great position to finish with good braking mechanics. I think he was just kind of turning into it. And Nero looked to fear tap out of that position. Probably not well versed in the leg lock game.
I will tell you this. Recently, not when, but recently, there was a guy who just was beating me up pretty bad. And I eventually got to the point where I got a leg attack on him, and I looked at him, and I was like, he was doing that little thing where he starts to punch your throat. You know, the little Ezekiel when he has the mount, and it's usually your way of knowing, are we friends or not? I guess we are not. And once I end up very slowly just kind of looking at him like, am I going to finish this? Am I going to finish this? And he does that fear tap thing. The dude gets so mad, he walked off the mats and went to go get water to be like, and I just go, yeah, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not great at this either, but I would tell you, don't punch people in the throat. That's not a nice thing to do, you know?
Raph, I'm pretty sure I tried that on you when we rolled.
The punch throat thing? Yeah, I mean, I think you did. I don't know that
I think we both
What's
that? It didn't. But I think we both tried it on each other and laughed.
You know what it is? From underneath, depending on the person, I have punched people back in the throat because I look at them and I go, fuck off. And usually my defense is decent enough where I'll buy myself some time and they'll mess up. So anyway, talk about getting excited. Yes, you wanted to know what's next. It's Keith Krikorian and the Rafael Domingos. And unfortunately, normally I root for the person named Rafael. But, Keith he's like an adopted son of this show.
I can't believe he really calls you Mr. Esparza.
Bro, it's not a fake thing. It's been happening for about 4 or 5 years now, and it's really fucking annoying. Because I've done my best to say, dude, just call me Raph. And he's like, oh, I don't think I can, Mr. Esparza. And I go, please, for the love of God, just refer to me as Raph. It is so nice if you just call me Raph. So when we're around and people see us for the first time, they're always like, hey, Raph, what's going on? He's like, oh, did you say hi to Mr. Esparza? No, Keith. No. Here's some good news. Here's some good news, though. You do have Keith trying to keep Rafael as close as possible, which is going to keep him from trying to back out of most of these attempts. For a split second, we had double underhooks, but there's a really good use of this head control that I've seen from Keith that is basically making sure that if Domingos wants to go and use some of that movement that he's got, he's going to have to commit to carrying Keith with him along. Now, you mentioned you were excited for this one. I'm going to ask you about this. Let's go back over to Jason. Jason, what are you seeing right now unfold?
So I see Domingos being very defensive right now. Keith continuing to working from his butterfly. If you notice, he gets his butterfly and he's working for those underhooks. He likes to go to the body lock a lot from there. If you can get both double unders, get his body lock, come on top for the sweep, or even mount if he can. But Rafael's doing a really good job just kind of keeping Keith at bay right now. Controlling the legs, trying to pass. There you go. Pass, pushing the leg down, the knee down. That way he can't come back up, recover guard.
Well, you've also trained with Keith.
job.
What is the most difficult aspect of rolling with Keith?
The guy does not freaking stop coming, man. He does not get tired, and he just is relentless. See, there you go. Oh, nice try.
What was that?
That's nice.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nice. And it's just that quick. That guy is so good.
Was that no arm?
I believe so.
I'm gonna have to see the replay.
Yeah, I looked away for a second. He was on
triangle.
top.
I might be on crack, but meth. Sorry, it's Iowa.
Well, he does this thing where he'll let people go double unders, and he'll grab his own ankle and he'll hook their head like a triangle and catch him with that. I think he might have caught him with that.
Keith is one of the few people to submit somebody and then apologize right after. Not too many people like that in jiu-jitsu, but man, well, this one's a tough one. Everybody here has a compelling reason to do the toast to Keith. I'll go ahead and take myself out of the running. Who here wants to give the toast to Keith?
Keith, I'm going to drink for you because I know you can't handle your alcohol. Here's to you and your great win.
Oh, man, this is me after 2 beers. It's crazy, man. I think I'm going to die. Oh, no.
So, yeah. So now that we're talking about it, after my event, I gave him a margarita because he's like, I'll take a strawberry margarita. And I'm like, okay. So I came back, and he had like 2 sips. He's like, dude, I'm buzzed. I'm like, what? He's like, this is really strong. I'm like, yeah, the bar next door knows me, so they make them strong. And he's like, yeah, this is really strong. I don't know if I can finish this. So I talked him into doing a green tea shot. So he did a green tea shot and drank a margarita, and he was drunk, and Corey Brown drove him back to his hotel. It was awesome.
This is my new official favorite Keith Kikorian story of 2020.
Dude, he's so funny. I love him. He's one of my favorite people.
He's a good human
awesome.
being. He's like, honestly, guys, I don't know that it works out that
that was no arm.
really nice human beings tend to also be very good at jiu-jitsu. Those things don't always coincide. Keith happens to be both, and it is a very refreshing thing to see. There's no trash talking with him. There's none of that bullshit. And it's kind of, when you see him go out there and compete, it's just like this, where you see him and Domingos. They have a nice laugh with each other, and they're celebrating, and you often see Keith even going out and having dinner with the people he's competing against or who are in his category. So we have nothing but love for that kid, so good for him.
I've also found out he's one of the only 10th planet guys to not smoke weed, so,
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Very rare drinking and
Really?
weed smoking, yep. Yep. He is truly a 10th Planet anomaly. In most respects, if he wasn't this good, you always wonder if 10th Planet would ever claim him.
Maybe there's something to it because he's the best guy out of 10th Planet, and he doesn't smoke weed, doesn't drink. The rest of you 10th Planet druggies, maybe you should get your shit together.
Yeah.
He doesn't play rubber guard either. Just saying.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
He does.
Well,
Him and PJ, the 2 best.
Yeah, I was gonna say PJ. I have a funny PJ story. We were in Nashville. He thought we were super hardcore because we were just casually drinking and smoking weed. And I get the idea. PJ's pretty reserved as well, like that.
okay, you get that he's reserved, but that's the end of the story?
No, reserved in the fact that he doesn't partake in a lot of these things, which will make him a great competitor for 10th
Oh, got it.
Planet.
Okay.
So, yeah, okay.
I was
Sorry,
hoping
Raph, I have to write it out for you.
I thought that you had a compelling story like Keith Kikorian and not just an ellipsis here's some invalid analysis. So, blah, blah, blah.
Hey, Raph, Tackett and Checo.
Tackett's another one who is
right.
just him and Keith could face off for the nicest motherfucker belt.
Based solely on his game, where would you guess Keith trains? Is from Kevin Bradley, the question.
Kevin Bradley, you're not part of this. Get out of here.
So, just to let you guys know, Tackett actually had a plus next to his name on the betting lines. So he is considered...
What?
Yes, he is considered
oh my God.
the underdog here.
Why?
Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
He's going to end Checo's career.
End his career. At
This is
19
when you're
years
supposed
old.
to say what career.
I'm not doing that
Come
to
on.
Checo. Listen, dude, Checo has
Come
a
on.
great mohawk. He has been generally favorable to us here on the show. I'm not going to
When
do
he
that.
lacks in jiu-jitsu, he makes up for a mohawk.
Hey,
I
listen,
like
dude.
to avoid opioids on his ass.
I would tell you guys this. If you literally said that I had a great mohawk but terrible jiu-jitsu and I watched it and I was an athlete, I'd be like, yeah, that's okay. I'm all right with that.
Tack it with some rubber guard, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Joe Bays wants to kill Checo, so, I'm Team Joe.
That's fair. I didn't know that it was going to be us having to choose between Joe Bays, who has no recollection in this match at all, of one William Tackett and one Gabriel Checo. So we're talking about the people who are here, sir. I mean,
Sorry, I am ride or die, Raph. So when somebody's talking shit about you, don't worry, I got your back.
I oddly believe that because I think what you would do is, that's not true. Let me tell you something about Raph that I hate that is true. And then I'd probably be like, yeah, that's fine. At least he's not talking gossip shit about me. At least he would actually air grievances about me. And I go, yeah, that's how you know he knows me.
Ooh, nice back take by Mr. Tackett.
It
And
says,
career ends in 30 seconds.
So good.
Squirrely Ben asks, I just got here. Did we shit on Gordon Ryan already?
Surprisingly, not yet, huh?
But is that a request? Is that like Hotel California? You want us to play our greatest hits? Because we can.
I'm trying to think of something I want to shit on.
Well, here's some good news. We have a back take, and there's a nice triangle, a little loose body, inside body triangle right over there from one William Tackett, who has a little over 2 minutes to play in this position, and that looks really, really gruesome there, kids.
What kind of black belt doesn't know how to fucking fight hands? Jesus Christ, Checo.
Yeah, that was a nasty RNC. That was tight.
Another one of the nicest guys in jiu-jitsu, William Tackett.
Yeah, I feel like... yeah,
So nice.
that's a rough submission finish right there. I would tell you this, though. That if anything, we're just going to have like a friendship battle royale between him and Keith.
Tackett was like,
Thank you.
hey, I really disagree with your stance on flow grappling. And I'm like, okay, thanks for your opinion.
Well,
He said that
Yeah,
at our event,
yeah,
or like in a message.
and both, in a comment and a German.
Oh wow, that's funny.
May I field this one? Here's why I think
like how-
the young man is compelled to say such a thing. Obviously, they're treating him very well. So, to him, it's kind of like, well, they're very nice people. And it's like, yes, William, to you. So, and you have no issues. So, no problem. No harm, no foul. I would say
Rabbi.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say we should let Jordan take the cheers on this one because that is his champion.
That's fair.
Go ahead.
I'll air grievances afterwards, but go on.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not take anything away from the good Christian boy Tackett.
These glasses are empty, but I'm gonna do a
What the
toast.
fuck? How have you fucked this up again? Jesus Christ, kid.
Iowa,
Tackett.
get your shit together.
William Tackett, I want to say congratulations on a fantastic rear naked choke finish at Submission Underground. It is great to see the sub-spectrum 185-pound champion out there gathering victories. Last night, he earned a victory over the previous sub-spectrum 185-pound champion, Jason Rao. So congratulations to William Tackett. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There's a little
I
bit of
forgot
melted
about
ice on the bottom of that to drink. But yeah, that actually was perfect because I was pumping William up as the first ever 185-pound champion, and I forgot that Jason Rao won an 85-pound champion or a 185-pound title for us. I thought he was both at 170, so it was perfect to see William beat him last night. So now it's not as inaccurate.
The undisputed lineal champion.
Let me go and point something out here.
Millennial.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Continuous undisputed belts all around for everybody. Because that's
Should
what we
we?
have in the main event tonight. Look at this.
Just
We have
mail
to,
them to him.
we have to figure out. We have two champions of Submission Underground. I think they forgot they gave Vinny a championship. They're like, we probably can't afford you anymore, dude. So We just figured you weren't champion anymore, so we gave it to Mason. Oops, sorry.
Is that what's going on now?
That's not yet. We got a couple more.
I was gonna say, are we already there? Jesus.
No, there's a few more.
We're flying
There's a
through
ladies
very
match.
nicely. So,
Is
yes,
there one other match before
it's
that?
Leah Taylor and Kendall Rusing. Thank you. Sorry, I always fuck that one up. And Vinny and Mason. So those are the last
those are
two
the last
events
two.
that we've got going on before
Damn.
we are essentially finished. So yes, you did that one. What I would tell young William Tackett is this. Flow grappling does some good things for some people. The by and large of it, though, is there are things that could improve, and the things that we very nicely tell them as constructive criticism, they take with deaf ears because they pretend nothing is wrong with them, and that is inherently problematic. So, that is the nicest way of saying it, but I love that he felt compelled to be like, now, Mr. LeDuc, I do not agree with your stance. I hope we could still be friends after this.
I said yes,
Oh my
young
God.
William. You are always
Oh my
welcome on my event, sir.
Unlike Alejandro, who's just like, I fucking love Flo. The Pedigo kid on my show that like
Who?
yelled at you. Alejandro.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Sorry, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
They got
No,
another.
I actually really,
series.
I actually really like those Pedigo guys. They showed well for themselves when they came out. So.
Yeah, I don't mind them. The only thing I find odd about them is they do all the Brazilian chants. I'm like, bro, you guys are hillbillies from like Illinois, so do me a favor and stop with that. Hey.
So I'm going to ask this over,
they do like that.
Jace, to you, sir. Have you seen Kendall compete before? Because she was local out here for a little bit and competed on a number of events out here in California.
I've seen her compete like once or twice, but yeah, just a few times.
Excellent. I'm going to ask this as well. I mean, Kendall recently, didn't she just get a match with, what was it, Gabby recently?
Yeah, she lost by Americana to Gabby on a fight to win.
Like, honestly, props to her for even taking that match. Most people would run away. I've run away from Gabby Garcia. I don't need that in my life.
How was that match between her and Clay? I didn't see it. I just saw the outcome.
We're missing something right here. Why was Gabby chasing you?
So here's the story. I went to New York as part of a program for NBC. I stopped by Marcelo Garcia's. This is back in like 2013. And Gabby was just getting ready for ADCC, but I think she was training Yi this day. And they were starting to match up everybody, and everybody just runs away from her. At this point, I am a white belt. And she makes eye contact with me, and I thought, oh, this is where I die. This is where it ends for me. It was a good run, everybody. And some brown belt did the kindest version of, no, and like jumped in front of me. And I go, I will remember you and tell your story, sir. Thank you very much. Because all I could think of was, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I have nothing to offer her, especially during ADCC. And we're trading in the fucking gi right now, which is like bold to me. So yeah, I got to a point where I just go, I would have gotten demolished. But yeah.
I think pretty much everyone here would have. I think I'm the only one that doesn't have a weight discrepancy with her.
Yeah, but even then, she'd be like, now you have to use your actual jiu-jitsu talent, and let's see where that goes, Josh.
Good thing she doesn't know leg locks.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the advancement of position that's happening here from Kendall. Can you walk us through this one, Jordan?
I honestly don't know which is which, but the girl on top has really, really nice head and arm control here. She's climbing her knees up underneath the armpits, looking to isolate an arm here for potentially a head and arm choke. A lot of pressure here in the top position. If she fails on the head and arm choke, she could climb into an arm bar, but kind of gives up on the pressure portion of the position here. Not looking for an Americana.
Josh,
She turns to her side, technical mount to the back.
Josh, what does she need to do to go ahead and finish here?
I mean, right here, she actually needs to try a submission. But, she's doing a pretty good job giving her opponent the mother's milk to start setting up the head and arm triangle. She just didn't have the arm across the face enough and didn't really have the head at the floor. I'd be starting to move the back here. But, Kendall has a very strong top game. I get the fact she doesn't want to sacrifice top position, but she's looking for Americanos. I think she's just going to ride it out to overtime.
I mean,
Leche de Madre.
There's one thing that I've always known about Kendall is we mentioned earlier that she's willing to take a match with Gabby, but she's always been a gamer. Like, that was my favorite thing about her competing, was that she was just always really down for, like, oh, is there going to be a class? Are we going to add an absolute? What are we going to do? I'm in. So that has been one of her defining characteristics, but she has been continuously putting on the pressure throughout this entire time against Leah Taylor.
Yeah, she seems like a sweetheart every time I've seen her
She's
or
very
had
nice.
like any interactions online with her. And she's very big on the whole like body positivity movement, which, I wish you guys would take to this show before you started fat shaming me. But
Yeah, okay. I would tell you this. I've made less fat shaming jokes than you've even thought of R-word jokes in this entire hour and 20 that we've been doing this. So just think about that for a split second.
I made one comment, Raph.
You
I'm
thought about
sorry.
more. I know that for sure. I don't have access inside your brain, but I know what jokes are in your wheelhouse, and you go, oh, it came up R-word again. Oh, if only I could say it on the show. Damn you, Raph, and your standards.
I'm sorry. You keep bringing fucking Jordan on. What else do I have?
I'm gonna go to a comment here, and it says, from Swirly Ben, I feel under mustachioed, which is accurate here.
Should.
Kendall trying to attack this leg right now figures, what the hell, if I don't have to go to overtime, it's worth at least trying to do this. Oh,
Fuck it, try it, leg lock.
yep, and a nice knee bar. Just throw it out there before we go to overtime, which it seems that is where we are heading here, kids. All right, so we go to regulation, which begs the question, the end of regulation on this, do we see Vinny and Mason going the full 5 minutes?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Vinny's lazy as shit, and Mason likes to stall.
I'll go to the least offensive person on the show so far. Jason, how do you see it playing out, sir?
Honestly, I do see it going to overtime. I have a feeling Vinny's probably going to try and hold on, maybe just keep some heavy pressure on Mason the whole time, or just defend attacks, and then see if he can push it out to the OT and squeeze out the victory there.
Excellent. All right, we're already at an arm bar here. By Kendall, excellently done. All right, now switch of position. This is a lot. That's a short amount of time to work. 6 seconds to try and get a response here. So, yikes, indeed. Sometimes almost when you see 6 seconds, you almost want to be like, listen, they won.
Oh, wait. The submission on the ground before was like giving them the full 2 minutes. Have they changed the rules, or like what are they doing? Maybe the ref actually knows what's going on this time.
That could be it.
That's possible. Or, it could just be on the athletes who are just like, hey, you know what? We know what happened here. We're good.
Kendall's a fucking tank. She's got the deadlifting muscles to finish that armbar so quick.
Absolutely. That's so demoralizing, though, when you get that, 6 seconds and you go, how many seconds was that? Are you sure? Are we at did we round that up, or is it just 6
Can I have
seconds?
7?
7 sounds better. I think it was 7. I was keeping track in my brain. All right. Well, Jason, you told us how you see it going. Jordan, you kind of alluded to the fact that we're going to overtime, but por qué?
I think the overtime period would serve Mason very well. Obviously, he's finished Craig twice from the back. He's finished a lot of really good guys in that 8-man tournament from the back in overtime. Obviously, Vinny is a tough guy to finish, but I think Mason would be good served by getting to overtime, getting a chance on the back to get a chance at a rear naked choke or a face crank.
Josh?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not that he plays a lazy game. If you're not going to run into the traps, he's not going to really chase you too much, as we saw in the Nikki Broad matches. And Mason's not one to push the pace, as we've seen in all of his matches. But I don't know if going to overtime with Vinny is the right choice. Vinny's probably like 250 right now, because submission on the ground doesn't it's the absolute belt, and submission on the ground doesn't really do weigh-ins. And Vinny's got a very strong back game, as well as armbar defense. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to take Vinny in overtime.
Fascinating. Okay. And Mason was also the betting favorite on the odds makers as well.
Wow.
Why?
Because he's the champion?
But Vinny's an ADCC
top.
champion.
They don't know what that is?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I don't know, dude. I just love that when I see the odds go up. Those were the two ones that I would have placed wagers on. I would have made money on William Tackett. I just didn't do
Yeah.
it in time. And then the other one was looking over and saying, like, I don't know that I like Vinny as an underdog in any sense.
Yeah.
Ever expressed.
I definitely would have bet the house on Tackett. I'm not that confident in Vinny because he does have a tendency to underperform sometimes.
Yeah.
But I would definitely put a little bit of money on him, especially at the underdog.
It's difficult not to. So it's one of those things where I was getting the show ready. We were doing the new setup today, and I go, maybe I should go bet on this one. And then I like ran out of time, and I go, they're still gonna happen the way I think they're gonna happen. Nothing much.
So, if you're submission underground, how heavily are you pulling for Vinny to win this?
I think you probably want to keep
Hard.
the Mason pony happening
Why?
Really?
What is your thought process on that
because
route?
they probably figured that they made Craig Jones. So like when you create a franchise star, he has been somebody that Chael kept saying, well, he's the greatest grappler that's ever walked this earth. So he's talking the talk and making sure that they're going to be a signature star of there. Vinny Magalesh has a quoted rate as just Vinny Magalesh. So that guy's going to be way more expensive than keeping Mason around. Guarantee you.
I guess, but they kept paying Craig, and he's not like the cheapest guy in the world. If I'm Chael's son and I'm sitting here because he's friends with Vinny, he's quote unquote Chael's jiu-jitsu coach when he was on the Ultimate Fighter and shit like that, I would be pulling for Vinny because then we're talking about setting up that Vinny Craig rematch after a few squash matches for Vinny, and he's more marketable. Vinny's gonna talk a little smack,
Yeah.
Mason is just gonna be like,
It is compelling in terms of making Vinny versus Craig again. I feel they want to circle away from that for a little bit. I think they want to let these new kids come here. And here's the good news. How is this the first time that we've seen Keith Krikorian on this show? Like, if they're smart,
insane.
they keep a Keith, they keep a William Tackett and a Cody, and they start investing in that new generation of people that'll provide higher dividends for them over time than maybe a couple little matches here and there. Because Chael himself, all things considered, is the draw.
as Gary V would say, underpriced advertisement. That's what you have in Keith Krikorian and William Tackett. Cody Steele, to a lesser extent. No offense, Cody. But, yes. I
But
agree
think about
with
it. Keith,
that.
the three of them, the friendship, what is it? BFF posse, as they're calling themselves. Like, the Tacketts and
thing.
Cody
Is that a
together.
thing?
I think they call themselves like BFF squad together. Like it's Cody. I think
Oh,
they
it doesn't include Keith. You're saying the Tacketts and Cody.
Oh yeah, with Keith, I just put him in there because they tend to be on the same events together. So,
I gotcha.
But with Cody and with William, it's a package deal at this point. So why not take both of them? Because even if you don't think that Cody is going to have as good of a match, you still might get some highlights. And tonight, none of us here thought there was going to be a heel hook finish in his match, and yet you have a finish. There you go. Also, I'd like to point this out here. I appreciate Jason's full embrace of fall, and it begs the question here, are there pumpkin spice lattes around you?
None that I think I know of.
Okay.
Maybe my sister might have grabbed one. So
Because it does feel like you have embraced it in a way where, yes, you would have a Starbucks in hand and being like,
Holy
oh my god, I'm
shit.
so happy we finally have pumpkin spice lattes back.
oh my gosh.
Vinny went full Hulk for this match.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he's huge.
Yeah, he does look huge right now.
I need to get on whatever the fuck he's on.
Me too.
So, do you guys remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 when there's Super Shredder? That's essentially what's happened with Vinny
Yeah.
Magalhaes right now. And they don't even look remotely in a weight class that is comparable for each other.
No, not at all. It'll actually be interesting to see like if Vinny overwhelms them a little bit with his strength, but so far Mason doing a really good job.
I mean, Mason's used to also competing and training a lot with Yuri Samoas, so I think that's what he's going to be leaning on a bulk of this match. Oh, do we have
Speaking
an
of the
iPhone?
sauce, have you guys seen what the hell Yuri looked like? Did you see that fucking picture?
Yeah.
So,
Woo!
Jack,
I'm gonna fucking fight in Asia is what I'm gonna do.
That's great. I hope that they import Asian steroids for you. That might be the key, Josh.
I'd go full fucking Star-Lord then.
Well, all right. So far, so good. The first minute, very nice pressure by Mason Fowler. He is pushing the action here, which is unlike what you thought was going to happen here.
What did I think was gonna happen here?
Well, you thought that Vinny was going to stall. He doesn't even have an opportunity to stall at this moment.
I mean, they're both basically stalling right here.
Well, let's put it this way. One thing that made me feel good was Mason at one point did get Vinny down a little bit. So, all right, I can appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sorry. He touched the mat for 3 seconds in a submission-only match, and 2 minutes had passed. Listen, I'm a fan of wrestling, but wrestling in a submission-only match is just stalling.
Sure, Josh. Except the only issue here is we have people who like that. It's more of a pageantry of it.
I love wrestling, but I want to see good wrestlers wrestle, not this.
Jason, you're probably the person we should ask about wrestling here, just in terms of bringing it to a more intelligent discussion. Do you feel like wrestling is a better use in the cage, or do you try to go elsewhere? At some point, do you give in to the pulling of the guard?
No, I think it's definitely valuable and it can help you. I think it's how you integrate it into like your jiu-jitsu and how you use the cage, right? As far as like you see Mason's doing a pretty good job. He's putting a lot of pressure on Vinny. I think he's just trying to wear him down because obviously Vinny has a lot more size on him. If it were me personally, I'd be trying to do stuff like Mason was doing earlier in the match where you kind of see where Vinny's really heavy on the collar tie, step back, misdirect, like use his weight to snap him down to gain better position, like maybe a back take or something else like that. But you definitely don't want to try and just go standard wrestling, shooting on him like a single or double leg against a cage or anything like that. He's got too much size on him.
Okay. All right, that's good. Jordan, are you finding anything of note here that is pleasing you? Because we're at 2 minutes here, so we might need to start bracing.
I have a feeling we're going to see 5 minutes of regulation that includes nothing on the ground whatsoever, and that's slightly disappointing, but not surprising.
Okay, well, that's going to be the name of, I think, Josh's first autobiography.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
Hellas.
I would tell you this right now. So, at the very least, if this is what you want to call a stalling tactic, it's maybe a smart one from Mason because it is neutralizing a very, very dangerous ground game of one Vinny Magalhaes that is versatile.
You know, I think that's a good point, because anytime I've seen Mason do jiu-jitsu against a good guy, he's lost. So this is probably the right tactic to retain that submission on the ground open weight championship or whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Tattle.
Yeah.
Can we just call it the Intercontinental title now? Come on.
There we go.
Like,
We need to
why
have
hasn't
one of those.
Chill? Why hasn't Chill done that, man? He's dibs. Next.
Absolutely. That's the way to go. Actually, that's the one thing we haven't done with WWE BJJ yet is I kind
I
of
already
want to
go
have...
dibs.
Well, we've already established there's a second title. Do you have a second title on you?
I'm ordering
Yeah,
the belt
I
as
do.
we speak.
Do you know how many belts I have in my house?
Well, that says more about what we refer to as not making fun of your issues as anything else. So I don't know what that has to do with grappling, but thank you.
Wow.
That whole sentence
What a
just
regulation.
confused
I know it did confuse you, but don't worry, everybody else got it. It says,
Okay.
Andrew B. chimes in and says, the Pacific Northwest Heritage Championship.
Ooh, I like that.
That was pretty good. We're going back to the pro wrestling days of regional areas here. All right, kids.
All right.
Well,
Are you guys ready for
Mustache.
There we
Let's go,
go.
mustache.
face crank?
Come on.
Mason Fowler with his stash looks like he is undercover.
He
He's
looks
got
like
the
he should
haircut
be
for
in
it, too.
Tacoma FD.
All right. Well, let's see what happens here. Can he do it again? Can he create magic here that he did against one Craig Jones? The grip, to me, looked loose to begin with, but Vinny's trying to address it. There's an almost body triangle here. Vinny is trying to address the legs. He's trying to adjust, and you are seeing him almost want to do his greatest hits again of hipping in with that little bit off to the side back controlled here.
I think the problem here is Vinny has no neck.
Yeah.
Good
Especially
transition
right
in the
now.
arm.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where,
Oh, I thought he was going to Bob Sapp him for a second.
I think this is where Mason has put in a number of his hours and his reps, and it does seem like they have been
Minute
paying
8.
off.
Jesus, Vinny is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get the rash guard supplier that Vinny has, because that is a very, how should I say, flattering rash guard.
Loose around the bottom.
Yeah.
Do you ever? How many times have you gotten a rash guard that you like put on and you just go, no, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't fitting the way it's supposed to.
I don't think Jason or Jordan have that problem, but Raph, that's our everyday.
That is just on this side of the show right here. The other two
Oh,
over.
shit. 21, 22 seconds.
Mason got out a lot faster than I thought.
Yep. I mean, this is again something that you can develop and really specialize in. It is hard to say the skill that comes along with doing EBI overtime, but it is a unique thing that I would put on my resume if I was good at it.
You know, I would bet a lot of money on Keith Krikorian over Mason Fowler.
Because we've seen what Mason can do with somebody who can attack the legs. So that would take out part of Keith's wheelhouse. Then we've also seen...
he's just going to push him around for 5 minutes, and it's going to go overtime, and Keith is going to win.
Well, that was going to be the secondary consideration, which is utilizing his size advantage over Keith for a little bit and pushing him around. Yeah, I don't know. See if Keith's interested in that. Maybe Keith becomes a new showcase star for.
We'll do it at
this promotion.
Chokechella.
Chokechella is.
Yeah.
So when does Chokechella happen?
I don't know. Probably next year.
Okay.
2021. Summer 2021.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that is 36 seconds of ride time that was acclimated for young Mason Fowler. And this time, Vinny is opting to go to take the back here.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. He switches here.
Oh!
Well, we
Oh.
Shit.
Oh,
Mason just
Holy
pulled a
shit.
Vinny. He's pulled a Vinny. Oh, my God. He pulled a Vinny.
jeez.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Well, I'm about to
That was
see
a
it for
nice
the first
escape.
time, while you guys have already seen it and had it happen real time. Yikes. 3,000 does find his way out, though most people would be stuck there. Vinny seems a little disappointed, and rightfully so. Mason basically doing the kids' highlights maze escape out of that one. So good for him, man.
So this begs the question, will Vinny take the back for this third and final overtime?
That is a good question, because we know that Mason is A-OK being here for a while. I would ask that on over to Jason. Jason, do you think that he'll opt for it if he gets, or when he gets his next opportunity?
Yeah, I think he's going to go ahead and take the back and try and get the finisher. I think, I don't know, it even looks like he got a little discouraged not getting that armbar the last round, and
Yeah.
Mason's going to work on him right now.
Well, sometimes you think that's like your ace in the hole, and you think, all right, that's how I'm going to equal
Yeah.
things out. And then it doesn't work for you, and you go, I guess I have to go back to it. Jason, have you competed in EBI overtime yet?
Yeah, I did some. I did one tournament. It was the World Series of Jiu-Jitsu, and so they had some EBI overtime.
Interesting. Josh, you look like you were about to say something.
No, I'm just ahead of you.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I don't know why Vinny's going to the arm again. Like, maybe he saw something we didn't. Maybe he loosened up on that arm, but he's not getting a lot of ride time. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, Vinny, again, has competed for a number of years. ADCC winner. We'll see what happens here. I mean, the person who's probably smiling the most right now is Gordon.
Why?
Because Gordon always likes to evaluate where Vinny is, because even though they only run into each other every once in a while, there was a good time where Vinny kind of had a little bit of that Gordon juju where he could kind of put it on him. And every time I think Gordon sees a match like this, he figures how much further in the race he's getting.
I can see that.
Because you could almost see Gordon would be like, I would finish Mason in blank. Because that's just the equation that he uses to talk shit. And Mason Fowler, it does look like he has won here, kids.
You know, he definitely earned that, especially escaping that armbar.
Stats and all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an impressive thing, dude. Mason's, again, becoming that showcase star. So now the question is going to be who they're going to pair him up with. Because they need to keep that train running, kids. Before they even finish one event, they're always promoting the next Submission Underground. And before, when we've been doing this, Chael's gotten notes or text messages from people saying they want that next one. So that is going to be something that I'm going to try and keep a little bit of attention to as we start to round the bases on this. But I would like to ask you guys to give your thoughts on your MVP of this event. I'm going to go ahead and start with Jordan.
MVP of the event is the Subspectrum 185-pound champion, William Tackett.
No, I'm coming back to you. No, Jason, who was the MVP of that event?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with William Tackett, man. He did a really good job. He had nice transitions and was able to get the finish, get it done.
Okay, let's go on over to Josh.
Keith Krikorian, the Zapatero 155, 205 Freak Show champion, overall nice person.
Jordan, I'm going to try this again. Who is the MVP of this event?
There are two of them, and they are both Subspectrum champions. First off, Keith Krikorian, the 155-pound champion, and William Tackett, the 185-pound champion, both scoring impressive victories tonight at Submission Underground. Great to see them on a bigger stage. Congratulations, Keith Krikorian and William Tackett.
You guys took a number of very prominent people. I'll put one out there.
Raph, let me one up Jordan. I would say the number of Zapatero events, but there's just too many to count. My little brain doesn't go that high. I'm sorry, Jordan. Raph, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad we did that. I would tell you that I have interviewed. I was looking over and I go, oh my god, how many of these guys have I interviewed? So I felt pretty good. I was like,
Raph, it's so easy to run an interview show when you have a fucking laptop and like just endless time on your hands. Some of us are doing real work, like Jordan and I, trying to grow the sport for the competitors.
Yeah, I'm sure you really try to grow the sport when you're too busy growing your face half the time when you stuff whatever's going in there, dude. It's a very difficult thing. I would argue you spent more time eating than you have planning grappling events in the past 6 months. So I'm going to make you know what? The fact that you're thinking about it already proves I'm right. So you can really change the sport with the amount of time you're... these ribs are good. Yeah, it's really good.
Fucking effortless when you're as good as I am.
So here's what I'm going to say. Kevin Bradley. By the way, to everybody else who's maybe a plus size, we're not fat shaming you. Only mean people are fat. Remember that, kids. If you're watching this and you ever need a source, I came up with that concept many years ago, and I stand by it. If you see a portly person, you don't go, man, that guy's fat. You wait to see his personality, and if they're an asshole, they're fat. If they're okay, you're just like, hey, sir, It's good to see you. I don't see weight on you. So Kevin Bradley answered and said the real
That's the
winner
most
here.
California thing I've ever heard.
It's not even a California thing. It's just fucking politeness, kid. One day you'll learn what it means. It says the real winner
See the weight.
was Jordan. So that comes from Kevin Bradley. And that comes from the Jiu-Jitsu Times, which you know means it's fake news. Bam! Got them too. Who else do I need to roast before the time is done here? All right. Well, gents, I'm very glad that we were able to do this. I appreciate your time. I want to do a little bit of a round robin. I want you guys to go ahead and plug your shit. Tell the people where they can find you. Tell people what's coming up next for all of you. Let's go ahead and start with Josh. You first.
Okay, Zapatero, October 17th, November 14th, 170 bracket, heavyweight world title, catch wrestling in November, combat on demand for all your event streaming needs, Fuck Flow Grappling, Nogi Nation, Wicked Warrior Coffee, Guardians Management. I got so much shit, Raph. I don't know. You pick. Thanks for, I guess, having me. You know, whenever you want a ratings increase, you know who to call.
You were almost ratings poison at this point, but I still keep you around because you like to think that you're a draw. Like, when we talk about franchise players and you look blank at me and you're like, what does that mean? I go, I know you don't know what that means. But I bring you on because now I feel like I have a certain kind of brother that is a little special. See how I did that one? And you make sure that you take care of that special brother. All right, let's go on over to Jordan.
The special brother, that's me. Thank you guys for having me on. It's great to have a post-meeting Josh LeDuc podcast. I have yet to meet Raph or Jason, so I look forward to having that in the future. But me and Josh enjoyed a great evening here in Iowa last month. Check out Subspectrum. We got a tournament coming up November 14th, gi and no gi round robin tournament for kids, teens, adults, and masters going down here in Des Moines, Iowa. We've got cash prize absolutes, pro qualifier brackets, and automatic bids onto our pro stage. So check that out, subspectrumbjj.com, and stay up to tune with that on all social media at Subspectrum and at Jordan_Jitsu.
And Jason.
It was a pleasure having me on. Thank you so much. Pleasure being on. It was awesome.
I was about to say, you know what? That's a bold heel statement to go with. It's been a pleasure having me on, Raph.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me on. Josh and Jordan, it was awesome meeting you guys. You can find me on Instagram at that dude Jason. Check us out, our wrestling program, A Brothers Wrestling. And next competition, hopefully ADCC trials coming up. So stay tuned. Once again, thanks again, Raph, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Happy to facilitate, kids. I'm going to start closing this up, but again, I want to thank you all. Before I go off, I'll say hi to you guys off air, but I just want to say thank you very much. You help make these events fun because, you know, sometimes there's a match that isn't fun, and it's our job to make them interesting, and I think we do a good job on that because we should really be the MVPs. That was going to be my MVP. And then all of you went and spouted off your own nonsense that I said, fuck that. I'm not going to at all call you guys the MVP. I'm going to tell you I thought about it, and I retracted it like a statement. So I will say hello to you off air, but for right now, let me go and say this to everybody. Hey, listen, guys, we will be doing more episodes of Grappling Hour. We have a big episode coming up this week to celebrate Season 3, that's what we're going to call it? Yeah, Season 3 of the Grappling Hour. It's been 2 years of doing it. Again, we cannot thank you guys enough. Give us a subscription at Grappling Hour on all of the major platforms. We're talking YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, and the other one. I forget which one. Pick one. I don't know. And if you could go on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, give us some follows. And on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review and a rank and rating. That review always helps us get a little bit more traction. That's going to do it for us here. My name is Raph Esparza. Thank you so much. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats. Eventually.